So I'm going to suggest all the things that I have are totally optional, um, because obviously I don't expect everyone to have a ton of stuff, but I'm going to have two blocks near me. They might come in handy. I have a blanket, and I have like a meditation cushion as opposed to a bolster, but you can use, a bolster, you can use a pillow, kind of whatever you have at your house. Just grab some things that will give you some props to work with. And we are just going to get started off in a comfortable seat. So you can make your way there. Maybe before I forget, I'll highlight myself and make sure that we're all on mute. And here we are. Comfortable seat, whatever that looks like for you. I'm just going to sit down on the ground, but if you want something to elevate your hips, please grab that. Let your hands rest down onto your thighs. And as you do get settled into your seat, if you take a couple rolls of your shoulders, if you want to rock your head out a little bit side to side and give yourself a chance to get comfortable, please do. You can also close off your eyes whenever you feel ready to do that. Let's meet with a nice deep breath in together. Fill your whole body up. And open your mouth, let everything release. Do that one more time. Breathe in through your nose. Open your mouth, let everything empty. Just begin to breathe in and out through your nose. Let your breath be really natural. And that's a big part of what a yin practice is that we're not trying to force anything. We're not trying to hold a lot of control over much at all. In a yin practice, we're doing kind of the exact opposite. We're trying to let go of control, trying to release any rigidity or manipulation. We're trying to come back a little bit more into our most natural state. Take a few moments to check in with your breath. Notice where it flows, where in your body you're feeling it move into and out of. Let the muscles around your eyes relax. Let the muscles in your forehead relax. And maybe even wiggle out your jaw a little bit. With every exhale, just see if you can find a little bit more softness. We'll be here for maybe another 3 or 4 breaths. And with your next breath in, go ahead and just stretch your arms all the way up towards the sky for a moment. As you exhale, allow your palms to draw down in front of your heart. And just allow yourself a moment to express your gratitude to yourself for showing up and setting aside this time. And if there is an intention, if there's a reason why you're here to move, to breathe, to be still, maybe that comes to mind as well. Whatever you need from this practice, allow yourself to be open and receptive. Let's take another full breath in. Let your whole body fill. Open your mouth, let everything empty. Go ahead and we'll make our way towards our first posture, which is butterfly. You'll bring soles of your feet together, knees nice and wide. And I'll suggest maybe at least for the very beginning to scoot your feet away from you a little bit, have a little bit of space between your feet and your hips. And there's so many different ways to set this up because we're going to allow ourselves to fold down. And some people like to just go without props and let your body fold down and hang in space. I'm a big fan of having something to support my head, so I start to stack my blocks. And you can do this with your bolster and your pillow, just kind of anything on your feet that starts to bring the ground closer to you. So I'm going to toss my bolster on top of this too, and then let my forehead relax down. Arms that just relax down towards the floor. Again, they're not really holding on to anything because we're not pulling, we're not forcing this shape to happen. So give yourself a moment to find the right shape, to find the right props. It's okay if that doesn't happen automatically. It might take you a few tries. And for yin in particular, it's okay to let your back round because all you're trying to do is relax every part of your body and just allow yourself to sink into the shape. Gravity will play a big hand in this. And so wherever you end up softening your body down to, now you just get to stay and breathe. There are these 4 principles to a yin practice, and one of the important parts of the yin practice is finding stillness. While it is a very important part of this practice, it could also be one of the hardest parts. It's okay if your body wants you to move. It's okay if your body feels uncomfortable. See if you can just explore that by breathing, by allowing yourself to be really present. And then every exhale, relaxing into your shoulders a bit more. Every breath out softens down into your low back, even out through your toes, your fingers. And then you just get to be as you are for a few moments. Let your eyes relax. And as we are passing through the halfway point of this hold, if you feel like your body wants to move a little bit deeper and you want to adjust a prop, go ahead and do that. And then just let your body and gravity work together as you melt down. Everything working its way down towards the floor. And we're not here for too much longer, just a few more breaths. Take one more deep inhale. And just stay and melt with your exhale. And then little by little, you're going to upright your spine. Really take your time with this. The coming out of the pose is just as important as your entrance in. Allow your spine to sit up tall for a moment. If you've decided to use any props, go ahead and scoot them off your feet so you can stretch your legs out nice and long. We're going to take our rebound in a little mini Shavasana. Go ahead and lower all the way down onto your back. And you're just going to lay down to the floor. Relax your arms by your sides. Close off your eyes and you guessed it, you're going to breathe. And this in-between time, what we call a rebound, is just for you to kind of notice any shifts that happen with your body, any shifts that happen in your energetic layers. So at first, yes, it might be a lot of physical sensations as you notice what it feels like to let go of that pose. Over time, encourage yourself to be curious about, what your mind feels like every time you come out of a pose. Yin Yoga works a lot with the different energy channels that run through our body. And so there might be a lot of energetic shifts happening as well. Take 2 more rounds of breath in this rebound. Maybe you allow your breath to become a little bit deeper, a little bit slower. And then from here, go ahead and stretch your arms up overhead like you're taking a full body stretch. Just reach through your fingertips, reach through your toes. Our next shape is Banana Asana. It has the best name, and you're essentially making a banana shape out of your body. So go ahead and separate your feet out really, really wide, like outside of the mat. And then you're going to crawl your fingertips over towards the left side of the room, or the left side of your mat. Once you crawl your fingertips over, let your arms relax. You'll move anything that's kind of in your way. And then you're going to cross your right leg, or your right ankle, over your left. Once you've crossed that, see if you need to adjust your shoulders so you can let your shoulders relax. And I'm a big fan of just like holding onto a finger or two, or even holding onto a wrist. And at first I hold on, but then over time I let my hands relax a little bit more. But that at least gives me a little bit of traction to work with. And maybe hopefully you see now that you've got this banana shape with your body. Also a crescent moon shape. Feel your shoulders relax to the ground, and for this posture, we're just creating a lot of space through the side of the body. Breathing into the muscles between your ribs. And then once again, you'll allow your eyes to close off. And then you just get time to be here. Along with stillness, another one of the principles is just to commit to being in a shape for a certain amount of time. We generally hold yin poses anywhere from a minute to 5-7 minutes. It can be longer. And the reason we do that is that after that 1 minute mark, your muscles begin to relax a little bit more. Your muscles slightly disengage. And so the work of this practice starts to move into your connective tissues. Connective tissues need a bit of stress from time to time to grow back stronger, to be a little bit more vibrant's not the right word, or vibrant is the right word. just to come back with a sense of vitality. So even though at the beginning of this practice I said that we're holding these deep stretches, stretch really isn't what we're after in a yin practice. It is these bits of stress, these bits of tension on the connective tissues. And through these sensations, through these long holds, we get to see what our mind likes to do, where our mind likes to wander. And so presence becomes our practice. Let's go 3 more full breaths here. To release, you'll gently begin to release your arms down by your sides. As you begin to recenter your body, go ahead and uncross your legs. You can once again spend time in this little mini Shavasana. Or if it feels better on your back, you can always bend into your knees, lift your knees up, or even hug your knees into your chest. What you want for this in-between time is another chance to be still, another chance to not take a very deep pose, but rather just to watch and observe. That witness we talk about often in a yoga class. You get to be that. Just witness what's going on. Take one more full round of breath. And we'll begin to make our way to the other side. As your right leg opens up nice and wide, go ahead and cross your left ankle over your right. Reach your arms up overhead and then start to crawl your fingertips over towards the right side. You can gently grip a finger or a wrist, but then eventually allow your shoulders to relax. Take any adjustments in your hips that allow your body to sink down into the ground. And for this side, I'm going to leave you a little bit more just on your own. Know that your breath is the perfect anchor to bring you back. It's okay if your mind wanders off. But just explore. What does a few minutes on your own feel like? Go ahead and give yourself 3 more full breaths. And then from here, little by little, begin to release from this pose. Draw your arms down by your sides, unravel your legs, and once again, take a shape that is calling to you, that seems like it'll feel really good for a few moments. A position that allows your arms and shoulders to relax. And then take notice of the sensation of not being in that pose. What does it feel like in your arms and shoulders? What does it feel like for your spine to be neutral? So I'll take a full breath in, let your whole body fill. Open your mouth, let everything out. You're going to go ahead and just roll over onto your stomach. And actually up towards a tabletop. We'll come to hands and knees for this next pose. It's possible that I'm going to utilize my little meditation cushion bolster, so you can use a pillow if you'd like. You can also use nothing at all. We're going to go for a heart melting pose, so I'll show it without the bolster first. Heart melting pose. Your hands crawl towards the top of the mat, and as you start to melt your chest down, your hips stay lifted and your forehead relaxes down. For me, this is a pretty intense pose. So what I like to do, you can always take a blanket under your knees if your knees need a little padding. But I like to take my bolster, I rest my chest down onto it and my head just kind of hangs off of it, so I have my kind of gaze forward a little bit. I just like the feeling of the bolster underneath me. And then arms forward. That bit of support against the ground helps me. One more option that I'm going to offer is to do one arm at a time, especially if this is really intense on your shoulders. If you want to cross your left forearm, tap your forehead down to your forearm, and then just have your right arm extended. This is a really amazing variation, and I'll give you a heads up at the halfway point. So if you've chosen to do that, you can switch it out at that point. And just as we did at the beginning, don't feel like you have to rush into being still. Wiggle your body into this a little bit. Play with the props, kind of figure out what works best for you. And that's the beautiful part of the Yin practice, is that each posture looks so different to each of us. We need such different things to make this shape work for us. But one thing we get to have in common is that we will tap back into our breath. We anchor down. And then notice what the present moment feels like for you. What does it feel like to be right here in your body, in the room you're in? Relax your toes. Relax your tongue. Take just a few more breaths. If you did choose to go with one arm, go ahead and switch out this pose or switch out the arm. Otherwise, you've just got a little bit longer left here. There's a quote that I've been sharing with a lot of my yin classes. I feel like it just spoke to me a couple weeks ago. And the quote says, "Generally speaking, we regard discomfort in any form as bad news. For practitioners, feelings like disappointment, embarrassment, irritation, anger, fear, instead of being bad news, are actually very clear moments that teach us where it is that we're holding back. They teach us to perk up and lean in when we'd rather collapse and back away. They're like messengers that show up and with terrifying clarity show us exactly where we're stuck. This very moment is the perfect teacher. And lucky for us, it's with us wherever we are." Final few breaths. Let this moment be your perfect teacher. If you're uncomfortable, that's okay. That's where the magic happens. Take one more full round of breath. And then little by little, allow yourself to release towards a tabletop. Take your time getting here. Draw your knees together and you're just going to sit back onto your heels. You can always choose to sit on a prop if you'd like. We're just going to spend a few moments, let your arms relax down onto your lap. Eyes soft and just allowing your spine to neutralize. If small movements feel really good in this moment, like rolling out your neck a little bit, maybe resisting the urge to move too fast or do anything really big, but sometimes those small little movements can help release out what our body just went through. Watch the flow of your breath through your entire torso. The next pose that we're going to shift towards is called dangling, and it's exactly what you might think dangling is. We're going to come up to a forward fold essentially, but I'm going to bring every single one of my props with me. And then we'll play with setting it up together. So once you come up to your feet, it's a forward fold. So separate your feet out at least hips width apart, if not a little bit wider. I'm taking my 2 blocks on the highest height. Of course, if you don't have blocks, if you don't have anything, you can just fold right down, let your arms dangle towards the ground, relax your head and neck. Give your knees a good bend. But if you do end up having props, I just like to stack everything up. So I start to make a little prop table, because my whole purpose is to bring the ground as close to me as I possibly can. And then I just like to lay my forearms down and then rest my forehead, or rest my, like the crown of my head, kind of between my forehead and the crown of my head. I just like having something for my upper body to touch down onto, and then that will allow me to, over time, as my body sinks in deeper and deeper, to release out some props and let my body go deeper. So again, take a few moments. Find how you want to be in this. And especially if your hamstrings are tight, you might feel shaking in the backs of your legs. That's okay. Shake your head out yes or no and relax the muscles in your neck. And then once again, your practice, your challenge is to be right here. Anytime you get that little nudge or that urge that your body says, I need to get out of this, when is this over? Acknowledge that that comes up, and then treat it like that little messenger. These messengers are showing where we can expand a little bit more, maybe where we're stuck, where we can, what we can be with for a little bit longer and move through. Five more breaths here. To release from this, I'm going to suggest, if you've been on props, to slowly walk your hands back onto the props. And let's just begin to roll all the way up to standing. Let every inch of your spine unravel little by little. And as you rise all the way up, take a drawing of your shoulders down and back. Relax into your knees, soften down through your shoulders. Eyes soft or fully closed. Palms can relax by your sides or hands over your heart. Just a few moments again to check in with everything. Noticing your heartbeat. Noticing what your legs and your back feel as you let go of that. Take a deep, full breath in. Open your mouth, let everything empty. And once again, we're going to make our way down onto our backs. You might just keep any props you have within some sort of reach. And as you roll down onto your back, go ahead and draw your knees into your chest for a moment. And then you're going to keep your right knee into your chest. Let your left leg release down onto the ground. As our final posture, we'll take a twist. You might scoot your hips to the right a little bit, and then you'll begin to drop your right knee over towards the left. We'll talk about prop usage now, so give us a different angle. As you cross the right leg over, If you have a pillow, you have something. I like something underneath my right shin, so I get support there. And then everything else just relaxes down into the ground. If you notice that your right shoulder lifts up a lot, you can always slide a blanket or something right underneath your shoulder, so you've got something to support you so you can relax your right arm down. Just options. You can stack as much as you need up to give that leg support. And once again, you just get to sink into the pose. Notice if there's anything that you do out of habit, especially if you practice yoga and you've done this pose 1,000 times. Are you flexing your foot? And maybe if you are, relax your toes a little bit. Your left hand is on your near thigh and you feel yourself gripping. See if you can relax your hand. You know, we do have to hold a lot of control in our day-to-day lives. We have to do a lot of things that ask a lot of us. And this practice is asking you to kind of stop all of that. One of my favorite Yin books says, resist practicing out of habit. And I always think about that when I'm in a Yin class. There's so much that I do, especially posture-wise, out of habit, out of repetition, that I love that this practice gets me out of that. Take your last 3 breaths. Give yourself time to unravel. Come to your back for a moment. Either Shavasana or maybe drawing your knees into your chest. Again, taking any shape that just feels good for a moment. Observe the in-between. We'll begin to explore the other side. And drop both knees into your chest for a moment if they're not already there, and then hold on to your left leg, stretch your right leg out. Give it just a moment here. And then maybe hips bump to the left a little bit, and then you'll start to guide your knee over towards the right. Different sides can use totally different props. Take a few moments to find the right amount of support. As you find your support, take just a full breath in, let your whole body fill up. Part your lips and just let that breath be really slow on the way out. Feel this breath run up and down your whole body. Feel that softness wash over your chest and your shoulders. The spinal posture just being this really nourishing, wringing out of your spine, almost like a little sponge, just anything else that you can release and let go of. Treating this like that final letting go before Shavasana, where we just get to allow everything that we're calling in, all the goodness that we're inviting in, to wash over us. Last 3 breaths. And you'll take your time to unravel little by little as you come back onto your back. Instead of a rebound, we are going to head to Shavasana. So maybe just give yourself one final squeeze in, let your knees hug in. Draw your forehead to your knees for a moment. Just feel your whole body turn into a little ball. And then Shavasana, stretch your legs out, stretch your arms out. But also maybe take a moment if there's any props that you want to use. Anything that makes your body a little extra comfortable. You can drape a blanket over you. I'm a big fan of the bolster under my knees. If you've got a pillow at home to stick under your head. You just get to gift yourself a few minutes to purely exist. You know, our yin practice is slow, and sometimes from the outside it can look like we're not doing much, but there's a lot of sensation in those poses. Now for Shavasana, we're not looking for sensation, we're just looking for a space to just be, and from there we get to be receptive to anything that's going to flow in. I mentioned at the beginning that this is working through the energy channels in our body, and in some theories, there's said to be over 72,000 lines of energy in the body. As our yin practice cleanses and circulates and stimulates these energy channels, there could be so much that it's opening you up to. Give yourself a chance to enjoy that. The sound of my voice will eventually bring us back together. And very gently begin to take a deeper breath. Let yourself wiggle through your fingers, your toes. And little by little, as you come back, if you choose to come back, it might feel nice to take a full body stretch, and you can keep your eyes closed for these final moments. We'll finish down on our backs. You can lay your hands over your heart if that feels good, anywhere on your body really. But one final chance for you to express your gratitude, thank yourself. Take a moment to send a bit of love and gratitude to anyone else that comes to mind. And then to those sharing in this practice, let's take a nice deep breath in, fill your whole body up. Open your mouth, let everything release. From my heart to yours, thank you so, so much for being here and sharing in this practice. You can take your time opening up your eyes whenever you feel ready.